Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Now's the time to save 30% on wedding jewelry, only on BlueNile.com. Make sure your wedding ring is the one with your pick of diamond and lab-grown diamond bands, all hand-finished and graded for excellence. Or surprise her with something blue she'll love for life, like a stunning pair of sapphire earrings. Blue Nile's jewelry experts are available 24/7 to help, from fit questions to style advice. Right now, get up to 30% off at BlueNile.com. BlueNile.com.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gents, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. It's Wednesday, the 12th of June, and this is your Daily Red podcast, where we talk all things Liverpool, the sights, the sounds, what's going on, and things to check out at the same time. And probably the theme of today, interviews and internationals, I think it's important to say. And that is natural because it's a couple of days till the Euros, just over a week, until the Copa America kicks off. And every other team's talking transfers apart from ours, which might frustrate people. Like, yeah, people might be looking and thinking they're doing these moves. We've not even announced our manager officially. He's not had a chance to speak to the press, however you wish to put it. But there's still a lot going on. National interviews and even transfer rumour-wise. So let's walk through it today. So first of all, probably the most interesting thing for me individually, I'd quote, is the Cody Gakpo interview with ESPN. He sits down. It's a good one to check out. It's on timelines, but on the ESPN channel, where he talks about the season as a whole. And I think the one thing it's important to say is he's clearly an excellent communicator, Cody Gakpo, and there's a lot of honesty in his approach and what he said, that there was some good bits, but there was so much more we could have done in the season. The reality is we didn't achieve what we set out to do. By his own admission, he talks about how there's some very high points, but there were some low points. He even talks about playing in different positions and how that affected him. And the one thing that's worth mentioning, people, he uses the phrase goals and assists 12 times in this interview. So he's clearly thinks about his own role in terms of his statistics, the goals and assists he brings. And even in the different positions, he talks about what he learned, but how he'd hope for better. I think this is an interesting interview. I really do. It's quite intriguing to me how honest Cody Gakpo is, because some players will want to steer away from certain things, but he leans into it, and he is a very divisive player. There's no two ways about it. Some of our fan base love him. Some, have different opinions, lesser of him. I think it's fair to say he is a divisive player within the fan base. But I would recommend checking out this interview, listen to it in full before you make any judgments. A really interesting one to see there. Transfer-wise, it's a bit of a German theme. Across the board, it's fair to say as well. From defenders all the way through, right back, centre back. So let's get into it. Joe Gomez is being linked with a move to Bayern Munich in the Mirror. So David Anderson talks about how Vinny Kompany wants to make him his first signing. I'm not reading too much into this, I have to be honest, if anything, because very much it's known that in Germany, Jonathan Tah at Leverkusen is the player they want, and Levi Colwell's been called out by a lot of people as their backup. So while Joe Gomez is on the radar, it maybe feels a bit like a name pulled. Also, with what we know about Joe Gomez, we know very much, as per that Sam Maguire story, he is, if an opportunity to move back down south comes up, Liverpool to look at it. There's down south, then there's Munich. They're very, very different things. So I'm not reading any stock into this. And I did say German league because the other two come from Sport Bild. And it's two players who could potentially be coming to Anfield if the rumours are to be believed. That Jeremy Frimpong, the right back, obviously, been in the Premier League before, Premier League club, but Sean really is an attacking wing back, almost full back, however you want to see it. For Leverkusen, a lot of goals and assists. That he is highly interested, or Liverpool are highly interested in him. Possible, but again, you struggle to see it. And I know people are going to start talking about Trent, and I'm trying to steer away from that debate about what happens with his future, but people will lean into that. There's Connor Bradley, so another right back or a wing back, however you want to put it, depending on how Arne Slot sets up. You would think, put it this way, if Frimpong comes, I have very big questions about the future of a certain right-back midfielder, however you describe him, talented superstar at Liverpool. So that's all that really needs to be said about that one. And the other one, I'm not going to pretend I've heard anything about this, but I might be butchering his name. Waldemir Anton, the 27-year-old centre-back at Stuttgart. Now, Sport Bild quote us as one of the teams that are interested in this. No, we are looking for a centre-back. So whether it feels like a cheap link, I don't know. It mentions us. It mentions Leverkusen. It mentions Dortmund in the article as well. Personally, I feel it's a bit of a cheap link. And the reason I say that is he's 27 years old. So I struggle to see Liverpool being interested in him or intrigued by him at this point. Yes, it looks like he's had a good season. Yes, Stuttgart did finish second and will be in the Champions League. So if he's going to leave that club, he's got to be on a first-team basis. Did he get into our first team? I don't pretend I've watched him each week ahead of Kanate, Quanta, BBD. I just don't see it. It felt like our name was being thrown in by agent talk, but there we are. So that's why I said German link. That's why I talked about transfers and that element this morning. I also mentioned internationals, didn't I? And by the way, Liverpool might find their new wide forward or attacker in Connor Bradley, because he notched a double yesterday, didn't he, for Northern Ireland? A great header for his second coming in at the back post, really well timed, executed. And even the first, getting the near post run, getting across his man.
This podcast is sponsored by Ramp. Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/easy. Ramp.com/easy. RAMP.com/easy.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Which will naturally prompt some people to say, what position, all that, and other things. But fair play to Connor Bradley. That's 3 goals in his last 3 international games. And it's good to see because he's getting regular minutes in a different setting. So, yeah, he is shining. Speaking of shining, Diogo Jota came on for Portugal last night, didn't he, in their friendly against Ireland, and got an assist for Ronaldo, a lovely outside the boot pass there for an assist, really classy. But we know Jota, he scored in his last one, he got an assist in this one. And speaking of that game, to mention Ireland, Paul Kelleher, he had to pick the ball out of the net quite a few times. Not really, I don't look at the goals and think there's anything he could have done with them, but yeah, there it is. And whether he's still at Liverpool by the end of the summer is another debate completely. Looking at the internationals today, there's nothing that really affects the Liverpool players. I think it's fair to say there's nothing you're expecting. And to be honest, there's not going to be much because the Euros kicks off in a couple of days, doesn't it? So there we are from an international roundup update. Other things I think is important to point you towards around pieces. James Pearce yesterday confirmed that there are expected to be more friendlies announced for Liverpool after the US pre-season tour, and one to be at Anfield. If you think back to last season and seasons before, it's always the plan. We've had Strasbourg, Preston, and even last summer we had to play Preston at Deepdale just because of what was happening with the stadium redevelopment and the issues there as well. So Liverpool always look to do that. Usually 1 week before the season kicks off, they play a game at Anfield. So you fully expect that to be on the docket. It's a good testing event for the club as well, but we'll wait to see what's announced. Quotes and interviews are the order of the day. I talked about Conor Bradley. He did do an interview yesterday with Liverpool's website, whether it was before or after, who knows, but it was released on the official website. So some interesting quotes there I would steer you towards. And Luis Diaz was asked about his future. And he's asked about future. He said he's very happy at Liverpool. That's all I'm thinking about. You know, international duty was always my dream to be here, etc. All positive. For me, nonsense. Luis Diaz wanted to go last summer. Luis Diaz wants to go this summer. He's consistently linked with Barcelona. His old fella's talked about Barcelona. Luis Diaz wants to go, as we know, to a warmer climate. And this isn't trying to diminish the player for anyone starts on this anyway. It's just, he's going to play the game. He's not going to go, oh yeah, I want to go and all that. What do you expect him to say? He wants to keep the focus on Colombia and their Copa America, because that's where he is at the moment. But don't believe a whiff of that. Yeah, he wants to go. It's Liverpool are happy to sell him. It's all about the price and what offers they get. So, yeah, just in case you've seen those Diaz quotes. Trent, according to all the nationals, because England's the focus, the flag shagging can begin. Yeah, a lot of them have got him as its league. And these leagues tend to always be true, don't they? Just because of the nature. That Trent will start in midfield for England with Bellingham and Rice. That's what a lot of the national juniors have got. And usually, funnily enough, that's because they've been briefed by the England camp as well and what they've seen. So those are ones to keep an eye on. But the full expectation, I think, for a lot of people is that in England's first game, Trent Alexander-Arnold, the number 8 in their squad, will start in midfield, which will throw a whole load of things in, which people will cover. But that's where we are for now. A lot of stories on that today. Other things to mention of wider sites, ladies and gents. There's some good piece on AI about Dick, the people who it could be, the need from that. Dave and Carl will be starting their Euros podcast soon, which is exclusively for subscribers only. So that's one to call out. And hopefully there's a few other pods and transfer market metrics will be coming in the next few days as well. Wider afield, there's a great piece on This Is Anfield around the next steps for Trent. I thought it was a really good piece by Anna Beattie there, a good one to read and call out on Trent. I think there's some good phrase in there. And as loath as I am to do it, Mr. Sam Maguire, there's an excellent piece from him on his potential Salah successes and how the club, which quite rightly seems to be being linked to a lot of left-footed right-wing options. So there's a bit of a profile of all the ones, pros and cons, sort of higher-level statistical analysis, so worth calling that out. Other pieces as well you may have picked up yesterday. There was one from Andy Jones in The Athletic about what LFC's aims and focuses for the transfer window. Like the other patch journos, he does rule out quite a few different names as who's not a target. He does say Minty, like Ian Doyle did the other day. He's not a target for Liverpool. It feels like that's being ruled out hard and fast. But he talks about the positions like many others. It's interesting, isn't it, ladies and gents? Because it's 2 days before sort of the window opens. And I can sense a little bit of frustration with some, as in we're not doing anything. Not always a bad thing, but just keep in mind, Villa are doing things, or Villa are having to sell Douglas Luiz and do a weird deal with 2 players and 1 bare cash to balance their books. Duran might be going to balance their books. Chelsea are now being turned down by Sesko because he's renewed. You know, a lot of clubs are doing stuff mainly because of their PSR element and the issues they have. And yes, I know we all like transfers. It'd be hypocritical for me to say anything different. We like the idea of players through the door, but no one's coming until the manager has been announced, and that's not had his official press conference. It's unveiling. Maybe that's the better term, so nothing's going to happen there. And if you want things to happen, it could always be worse. You could have finished 8th. You could have conceded a record number of goals. You could have give up chance of 30 shots galore. And then we could have kept that manager like another club, circus down the East Lancs Road. So just keep that in mind when you say things aren't happening. Would you want them to happen like they're happening at other clubs? I think you know the answer to that, but I get that sense of when will things happen. But as we said, a lot of internationals, a lot of quotes, a lot of interviews, and a lot of German links today. And we've kept it short for you. I know you're busy people, but on Wednesday, the 12th of June, that was the Daily Red podcast.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
The delicious ice-cold taste of Dr. Pepper has a lasting effect on people. Lindsay from Sacramento said,
Pro tip, 40 degrees is the perfect temperature for an ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
Why is 40 degrees the perfect temperature for Dr. Pepper? We brought in Sue from Duluth, Minnesota to tell us.
Oh, yeah, I know a thing or two about cold. Oh, that right there is the perfect kind of ice cold for Dr. Pepper. I'd share that with my friend Nancy. She likes Dr. Pepper, too, you know. My coldest...
All right, that'll be all, Sue. Having a perfect temperature for your Dr. Pepper? It's a Pepper thing. Inspired by real fan posts.